gateway between two worlds. Costa Rica, a small strip of land barely 300 kilometers wide at its broadest point, holds a secret far larger than its size suggests. It is a natural bridge between two continents, where the wildlife of North and South America collide and intertwine. This tiny country, nestled between the Pacific Ocean and the Caribbean Sea, is one of the most biodiverse places on Earth. The geography of Costa Rica is a miracle of contrasts. Towering volcanoes rise above lush jungles. Misty cloud forests crown the mountains. Sun-baked savannas roll into mangrove-lined coasts. Rain falls nearly every day in some parts of the country, while others bask under a constant, brilliant sun. Such extremes create countless ecological niches, pockets of life where different species adapt, evolve, and thrive. But it's not just the landscape that makes Costa Rica extraordinary, it's the life itself. Despite covering just 0.03% of the planet's surface, Costa Rica hosts nearly 6% of the world's biodiversity. Over 500,000 species, from tiny insects to enormous whales, call this land home. Every fluttering leaf hides a drama of survival. Every stream sings with the movements of unseen creatures. In Costa Rica, life doesn't simply exist, it explodes. Here, evolution experiments, adapts, and flourishes without rest. The people of Costa Rica, known as ticos, have embraced this living treasure. Over a quarter of the nation's territory is protected as national parks and reserves, making Costa Rica a model of conservation for the entire world. This commitment has allowed its rainforests, rivers, reefs, and creatures to endure, even as habitats vanish elsewhere. Costa Rica is not just a place on a map, it is a pulse, a living, breathing masterpiece where the wild reigns supreme, and the story of life itself is written anew with every sunrise. Masters of the canopy, the howler monkeys. In the dense jungles of Costa Rica, the air is thick with moisture, fragrance, and sound. But one sound rises above all others, a deep rolling roar that vibrates through the trees at dawn and dusk. It is the voice of the howler monkey, one of the loudest land animals on Earth. Howler monkeys are true masters of the canopy. Rarely descending to the ground, they spend almost their entire lives high in the treetops, moving from branch to branch with practiced ease. Their prehensile tails act as a fifth limb, gripping branches tightly as they forage, rest, and navigate their leafy world. Their diet consists mainly of leaves, fruits, and flowers. Leaves are not an energy-rich food, so howler monkeys have evolved to conserve energy. Their movements are slow and deliberate. A howler will often lounge for hours, resting and digesting, only rousing itself when hunger calls again. The booming calls that echo through the forest are not random. Males howl to declare territory, to warn rivals, and to keep their group together. The sound is produced by a specially adapted bone in their throats called the hyoid, which acts like a natural amplifier. In the early morning mist, the chorus of howlers is both eerie and majestic, a living anthem of the rainforest. Family groups or troops are tightly knit. Females typically stay in the group where they were born, while males leave upon reaching maturity, seeking new territory and mates. Social bonds are maintained through grooming, touching, and soft grunts, a quiet contrast to their thunderous howls. Yet despite their power in sound and their dominance of the treetops, howler monkeys are vulnerable. Deforestation, habitat fragmentation, and hunting threaten their survival. In Costa Rica, conservation efforts aim to protect the continuous corridors of trees that howlers depend on, ensuring that their ancient voices will continue to echo through the green cathedrals of the jungle for generations to come. In the world of the rainforest, the howler monkey is both sentinel and spirit, the living heartbeat of the canopy. Silent hunters, the jaguars. Deep within the dense rainforests of Costa Rica, where the canopy shuts out the sky and the air hums with unseen life, moves a creature cloaked in silence, the jaguar. Elusive and solitary, the jaguar is the largest big cat in the Americas and the undisputed apex predator of these jungles. Unlike the lion that roars or the wolf that howls, the jaguar hunts in near total silence. Its padded paws allow it to stalk prey without a sound. Every muscle, every movement is tuned to precision. In a land rich with life but also thick with obstacles, the jaguar's strength lies not just in power but in patience and stealth. Jaguars are unique among big cats in their method of killing. Instead of going for the throat, they often deliver a fatal bite directly to the skull, using their incredibly strong jaws to pierce bone. They can crush the shells of turtles, the thick armor of caimans, and the bones of large mammals. Few creatures can escape once a jaguar has decided to strike. Their diet is impressively varied. Deer, peccaries, monkeys, armadillos, and even anacondas fall prey to their lethal ambushes. Near rivers, jaguars swim effortlessly, hunting fish and turtles, proving themselves as masters of both land and water. Despite their dominance, jaguars are masters of evasion. They avoid human settlements, move mostly at dusk and dawn, and leave only ghostly signs: a footprint in the mud, a claw mark on a tree, a glimpse of golden fur vanishing into the green. For indigenous peoples of Costa Rica, the jaguar holds deep spiritual meaning. It is revered as a guardian of the forest, a protector, and a symbol of strength and mystery. In mythology, the jaguar bridges the world of the living and the spirit world, a creature that walks between dimensions. Today, efforts to preserve the jaguar's habitat are critical. As human development fragments their territories, conservationists fight to maintain the unbroken stretches of rainforest these magnificent hunters need to thrive. In the silent heart of Costa Rica, the jaguar still reigns, unseen but ever present, a ghost among the trees, a living spirit of power and grace. Jewels of the sky, toucans and macaws. When the dense green of Costa Rica's rainforests parts to reveal flashes of color, it is often the work of two of the country's most iconic birds, the toucans and the scarlet macaws. In a land alive with sound and movement, these brilliant creatures rule the skies like living jewels. The toucan, with its enormous, vividly colored beak, seems almost like a creature from another world. But that beak, though striking, is surprisingly light and perfectly adapted. It allows the toucan to reach fruit on delicate branches, pluck insects, and even regulate its body temperature by dispersing heat. The rainbow-billed toucan, one of the most recognizable species, looks as if a painter spilled every color onto its face. Their call is a coarse croak, unmistakable and wild, resonating through the rainforest canopy. Toucans are social birds, often traveling in small flocks, hopping and gliding between trees, always on the lookout for fruit, their primary food source. And then, there are the scarlet macaws, bursts of red, yellow, and blue against the endless green. These parrots are not just beautiful, they are symbols of fidelity and intelligence. Scarlet macaws mate for life, forming bonds that endure for decades. Together, they share food, groom one another, and raise their young with an unmatched dedication. Their loud, raucous calls echo across the forest, a soundtrack to the wildness that surrounds them. In flight, they glide with an elegance that belies their powerful bodies, their colors slicing through the air like streaks of flame. Both toucans and macaws are vital to the ecosystem. As they feast on fruits, they disperse seeds throughout the forest, regenerating growth and maintaining the health of the jungle. Without these colorful gardeners, the rainforest would slowly lose its richness. Yet beauty often brings danger. Habitat loss and illegal pet trade threaten both species. In Costa Rica, strong conservation efforts and rewilding programs are helping scarlet macaws and toucans reclaim parts of their ancestral homes. In every wingbeat, every bright flash through the trees, these birds remind us, Costa Rica's skies are not just pathways. They are living rainbows, soaring in celebration of life itself. Architects of the earth, leafcutter ants. Beneath the towering trees and thick undergrowth of Costa Rica's rainforests, a quieter drama unfolds, one of industry, organization, and relentless teamwork. Here, armies of leafcutter ants march in endless parades, tiny creatures carrying pieces of green twice their size. They may be small, but their role in the ecosystem is colossal. Leafcutter ants are among the most sophisticated agriculturalists in the animal kingdom. Unlike most herbivores, they don't eat the leaves they collect. Instead, they use them to cultivate gardens of fungus deep underground, a food source specially adapted to their needs. The journey begins with the foragers. Scaling trees and shrubs, they meticulously snip leaves with jaws that vibrate thousands of times per second. Once a piece is cut, the ant hauls it back to the nest, sometimes traveling up to 100 meters, an enormous distance at their scale. Back at the colony, the leaves are chewed into a mulch and carefully seeded with fungal spores. Workers tend these gardens like farmers, pruning, cleaning, and feeding the fungus. In return, the fungus produces special structures rich in nutrients which nourish the entire colony. Inside these subterranean cities, some the size of small cars, millions of ants perform their tasks with precision. Queens, workers, soldiers, farmers, nurses. Every individual plays a role in the survival of the collective. Communication is constant through pheromones and touch, guiding the flow of labor like a living superorganism. Leafcutter ants aerate the soil, recycle nutrients, and shape the very structure of the forest. Their underground chambers influence drainage, plant growth, and even the paths other animals use. Yet their strength is not just physical, it lies in cooperation. A silent, perfect coordination that has existed for over 50 million years. In Costa Rica, where life thrives on both the grand and the microscopic scale, the leafcutter ants remind us that power isn't always loud. Sometimes it moves quietly beneath our feet, tireless, unseen, and absolutely essential. Guardians of the rivers, crocodiles and caimans. Where Costa Rica's rivers wind through mangroves and marshes, ancient predators still reign. With armored bodies, cold eyes, and endless patience, the American crocodiles and spectacled caimans rule the waterways as living relics of a prehistoric world. The American crocodile, one of the largest crocodilian species, can grow up to 5 meters long. It is an ambush predator of terrifying efficiency. Nearly invisible beneath the surface, it waits, motionless, silent, for the perfect moment. A sudden surge, a snap of jaws, and the river's calm is broken by a burst of primal power. Spectacled caimans, smaller but no less formidable, share these waters. Named for the bony ridge between their eyes that resembles spectacles, caimans are masters of adaptability. They thrive in rivers, swamps, and even temporary floodplains during the rainy season, feeding on fish, amphibians, and the occasional unwary bird. Despite their fearsome reputation, these creatures are critical to the health of aquatic ecosystems. As apex predators, they control populations of fish and other prey, maintaining a delicate balance within the food web. Their nesting habits also create vital habitats for other species when floodwaters recede. During the dry season, water becomes scarce. Crocodiles and caimans retreat to shrinking pools, where competition sharpens and survival depends on endurance. These ancient creatures have adapted to these cycles for millions of years, their physiology allowing them to survive months without food if necessary. Among Costa Rica's most iconic spots to see them is the Tirelessly River, where dozens of massive crocodiles bask openly on the muddy banks, indifferent to the passing of time, or the watching eyes of tourists above. In every slow glide through murky waters, every silent ripple at dusk, these guardians remind us, strength often lies not in speed but in patience. In Costa Rica's ever-changing wild, the crocodiles and caimans endure, timeless, untouchable, and utterly vital. Tiny titans, the poison dart frogs. In the lush undergrowth of Costa Rica's rainforests, where moisture clings to every surface and life bursts in every direction, a splash of color can be a deadly warning. Here dwell the poison dart frogs, tiny, dazzling, and among the most toxic creatures on the planet. Despite their small size, some no larger than a coin, these frogs possess chemical defenses powerful enough to deter, injure, or even kill predators many times their size. Their skin secretes potent alkaloid toxins, a natural armor derived from their diet of ants, mites, and other small invertebrates rich in chemical compounds. Brilliant in color, they wear their danger openly. Electric blue, fiery red, gleaming gold, their hues are nature's boldest warnings. Touch me at your peril. In the language of the rainforest, these colors shout a universal truth. Danger lies within beauty. Different species vary in toxicity. The golden poison frog is one of the deadliest, while others, though still toxic, pose less risk. Indigenous tribes once used the secretions of these frogs to tip blowgun darts, a practice that gave the frogs their common name. Poison dart frogs are more than just deadly marvels. They are vital indicators of environmental health. Sensitive to changes in humidity, temperature, and pollution, their presence, or absence, speaks volumes about the well-being of the ecosystem. Their reproductive strategies are as fascinating as their defenses. Some species carry their tadpoles on their backs to isolated pools in bromeliad plants, feeding them with unfertilized eggs until they grow strong enough to survive on their own. Such parental care is rare among amphibians, a testament to the intricate balance of life in these forests. Yet even these brilliant survivors face threats. Habitat destruction, climate change, and illegal wildlife trade endanger their existence. Conservation efforts in Costa Rica strive to protect these tiny titans, recognizing that their loss would echo far beyond the undergrowth. In every glimmer of their jewel-toned skin, in every cautious hop across the forest floor, the poison dart frogs embody a powerful truth. In nature, size means nothing, and brilliance comes with a price. Wings of the night, bats of Costa Rica. As the tropical sun sinks behind the horizon and darkness blankets the forest, a new world awakens. A world ruled not by the beasts of the ground or canopy, but by the silent masters of the night, the bats. Costa Rica is home to an astonishing variety of bats. Over 110 species, representing nearly half of the country's mammal population. In the cover of darkness, these creatures emerge to play vital roles that sustain the delicate balance of life. Fruit bats glide between trees, their keen senses finding ripe fruits that will later nourish new forests. As they eat and travel, they scatter seeds across the landscape, ensuring the regeneration of the jungle. Some species are even responsible for the spread of essential plants like figs and cacao. Nectar-feeding bats, like the tiny long-tongued bat, flit from flower to flower, sipping sweet nectar and pollinating countless tropical plants in the process. Without them, some of the rainforest's most iconic blooms would vanish. Others, like the insectivorous bats, are nature's pest control experts. A single bat can consume hundreds of insects in an hour, keeping mosquito populations in check and protecting crops from agricultural pests. Among the most extraordinary are the fishing bats. Skimming low over rivers and lakes, they use echolocation to detect ripples on the water's surface, plucking small fish out with razor-sharp claws, a hunting technique of breathtaking precision. Despite centuries of superstition and fear, bats are gentle, intelligent, and essential to the ecosystem's health. Their sonar, echolocation, allows them to navigate total darkness with extraordinary accuracy, creating mental maps of the world using nothing but sound. Yet bats face growing threats. Habitat loss, climate change, and disease, like the devastating white nose syndrome, challenge their survival. Protecting their roosts and feeding grounds has become a priority for conservationists across Costa Rica. In the darkness above the rainforest, the soft flutter of wings and the high-pitched cries of sonar tell a story older than humanity itself. A story of survival, service, and the unseen architects of the night. Ocean giants, sea turtles, and whales. Where the rainforest ends and the ocean begins, Costa Rica reveals another side of its wild spirit, a world of ancient voyagers and colossal travelers. Along the Pacific and Caribbean coasts, the beaches of Costa Rica become sacred grounds for one of nature's oldest rituals. Sea turtles, leatherbacks, green turtles, hawksbills, and olive ridleys return to the very sands where they were born, guided by instincts honed over millions of years. Under the cover of night, females labor onto the shore, digging nests with their powerful flippers and laying dozens, sometimes hundreds of eggs. Few scenes are as stirring as the Arabatas, mass nesting events where thousands of olive ridley turtles arrive simultaneously, turning entire beaches into living, heaving mosaics of life. It is a spectacle of ancient rhythms, a testament to resilience. But the journey of a sea turtle is perilous. Hatchlings, scrambling toward the waves, face predators at every step. For the few that survive, the open ocean offers new challenges. Only 1 in 1,000 may live to return and continue the cycle. Beyond the surf, the waters of Costa Rica host even grander beings. Every year, humpback whales migrate thousands of miles from the icy waters of the Antarctic to the warm tropical seas. Here, in sheltered bays like Golfo Dulce and Marino Balena, they give birth and nurse their calves, singing haunting songs that echo through the deep. Humpbacks are known for their spectacular breaches, launching their massive bodies into the air before crashing back into the sea with thunderous splashes. These displays, while awe-inspiring, are also forms of communication. declarations of strength, territory, and courtship. Costa Rica's coasts offer a rare window into two worlds: the fragile beginnings of life on land and the majestic ballet of giants in the sea. Protecting these shores and waters is not just conservation, it is the preservation of ancient migrations, timeless journeys that link past, present, and future. In every hatchling's first frantic swim, in every whale's slow, powerful rise to breathe, Costa Rica's oceans whisper a message. Life is movement, and every voyage matters. Serpents of the green, snakes of Costa Rica. Beneath the emerald canopy of Costa Rica's jungles, hidden among roots, leaves, and shadows, glides a secret world, the world of snakes. Mysterious, feared, yet essential, these reptiles play a silent but crucial role in the ecosystems they inhabit. Costa Rica is home to over 140 species of snakes, ranging from harmless vine snakes to the deadly fer de lance. These serpents are marvels of evolution, each perfectly adapted to its niche in the vibrant tapestry of life. The fer de lance, known locally as terciopelo, is perhaps the most infamous. With cryptic coloration that blends perfectly with the leaf litter and lightning-fast strikes, it is one of the most respected predators of the forest floor. Despite its fearsome reputation, the terciopelo prefers to avoid confrontation, striking only when threatened. In the trees above, the green vine snake slithers effortlessly among branches, its slender body almost invisible among the leaves. It waits patiently for lizards, birds, and frogs, relying on speed and stealth rather than brute strength. The eyelash pit viper, named for the curious scales above its eyes, adds a surreal beauty to the jungle's shadows. Found in a rainbow of colors, emerald, gold, even pink, it coils quietly on branches, an ambush predator in a living sculpture of leaves and light. And then there are the majestic boas. The boa constrictor, powerful yet peaceful, uses its muscular coils to subdue prey, squeezing not out of malice but necessity. Boas remind us that death in nature is often quick, precise, and without cruelty. Snakes in Costa Rica serve vital ecological functions, controlling populations of rodents, birds, amphibians, and even other reptiles. Without them, the delicate balance of the rainforest would collapse, overrun by unchecked prey species. In Costa Rica, snakes are not monsters. They are survivors, engineers of equilibrium, and silent guardians of the jungle's ancient laws. In their shimmering scales and unblinking eyes, the wild heartbeat of this land endures. The rainforest in the clouds, Monte Verde. High above Costa Rica's lowland jungles, where the warm earth meets the cool breath of the sky, lies a world suspended in mist, the cloud forests of Monte Verde. Here, moisture drifts like a living veil among ancient trees, and every leaf, branch, and stone hums with hidden life. Monte Verde is not an ordinary forest. It exists within a narrow band of altitude where warm winds from the Caribbean rise, cool, and condense into constant mist. This perpetual cloud cover nurtures an astonishing diversity of plants and animals, many found nowhere else on Earth. Towering strangler figs, ancient oaks, and tree ferns form a dense, layered canopy. Vines and mosses coat every surface, while orchids, some no larger than a fingernail, burst into sudden delicate bloom. In this moist, filtered light, plants have evolved in fantastical shapes and colors, competing for the precious beams of sun that pierce the fog. Among the trees, the resplendent quetzal glides, one of the most sacred birds in Mesoamerican mythology. With its iridescent green feathers and long flowing tail, the quetzal is a symbol of freedom, beauty, and the spirit of the forest itself. Spotting one is a moment of pure magic, a fleeting glimpse into a living legend. Beneath the canopy, frogs sing from hidden pools, glass-winged butterflies flutter with near-invisible grace, and unseen mammals shuffle through the undergrowth. Every drop of water nourishes a complex web of life, and every whisper of wind carries the scent of blooming epiphytes. Monte Verde's cloud forest is also a refuge for endangered species. Jaguars, tapirs, ocelots, and rare hummingbirds find sanctuary here, protected by both altitude and conservation efforts led by local communities and scientists. Yet this delicate world faces its own threats. Rising global temperatures push the clouds higher, shrinking the misty refuge that so many species depend on. Monte Verde stands as both a marvel and a warning, a reminder of what is possible when nature is allowed to flourish, and how easily it can be undone. In the swirling mists of Monte Verde, Costa Rica offers a vision of Earth untouched, a kingdom of clouds of life balanced on the thin line between heaven and soil. Costa Rica's gift, a living treasure. In a world increasingly shaped by concrete, wires, and machines, Costa Rica remains a vibrant sanctuary, a place where life, in all its forms, still roars, sings, blooms, and soars without restraint. This tiny nation, bridging oceans and continents, harbors more species per square kilometer than almost any other place on Earth. From the howls of monkeys in the treetops to the silent flight of jaguars through the undergrowth, from the shimmering wings of butterflies to the thunderous breach of humpback whales, Costa Rica is a living testament to nature's boundless creativity. But Costa Rica's gift is more than its biodiversity. It is a philosophy, a national commitment to protect, to cherish, and to live alongside the wild. Over 25% of the country's land is protected as national parks, reserves, and wildlife refuges, an unparalleled achievement in a world where wild spaces are vanishing. This protection is not just for scientists or tourists, it is for the world. The forests of Costa Rica breathe for us all, pulling carbon from the sky, sheltering rare species and guarding genetic treasures that future generations may depend on. Yet even paradise is fragile. Climate change, poaching, pollution, and development press constantly against these green borders. The survival of Costa Rica's wild heart depends on vigilance, respect, and a shared recognition that these places matter beyond their borders. Costa Rica shows that conservation is not about stopping life, it's about letting it flourish. It teaches that when we protect nature, we protect the very spirit that sustains us. In every sunrise over the misty jungles, in every call that echoes across the rivers and reefs, Costa Rica reminds us, the earth is alive, vibrant, miraculous, and it is ours, if we choose to protect it. Subscribe to our channel Savage and Serene to never miss new exciting shorts and full documentary videos about the mysteries of flora and fauna.